when I was a youngster, religion has played a big part in the community of Section Macedonia and Dutton area. It always has. And there were religion, family, education, and entertainment.
This is Section, Alabama, population under 800. Section is a place where we all have a passion and a dream. Section, Alabama, our little town.
At that time, Section was a booming place. It had 5 general stores, a gin, and a school. The school burned in 1954. They know how, but they didn't tell me how. And so, children in Section didn't go over to other schools, Macedonia, Dutton, and Scottsboro. They stayed here in Section. Some of them went to the Methodist church, some of them went to the Baptist church. Of course, there was just the one room, and there might be 2 classes in one church. This side of the church was one grade, and this side of the church was another grade.
Aunt graduated from Scottsboro in the first class that went to Scottsboro to high school. There was not a high school in Section when I was born. The first class that went was in 1935.
I've been in Section High School ever since I've been here, helping build, worked as a youngster, building this original wing.
I got to thinking about, what are some of the significant strands of community life that have made a difference. And in Section, there's no way getting around it. The school has always been a central part of the community. And the more the community buys into the school, and the more the school invites the community, as it does here in Pacers and others, the more the community is sensitive to this, the more the school is sensitive to the community out there, and invites the community to come and to participate, the stronger the school will be in more ways than I could dare start to imagine today. And
the people in Scottsboro didn't even know that Section existed because they couldn't get across the river.
when I was born, there was not a bridge across the Tennessee River. Can you believe that? Can anybody imagine that there wasn't a bridge to go from here to Scottsboro? I mean, no bridge.
The B.B. Comer Bridge connects Sand Mountain to Scottsboro, Alabama via Highway 35. The B.B. Comer Bridge crosses the Tennessee River. The B.B. Comer is a steel truss bridge named for former Alabama Governor Braxton Bragg Comer, Governor of Alabama from 1907 to 1911. The Alabama Bridge Company began construction in 1929, and the B.B. Comer was completed in 1931. In the old days, there was very little traffic at night on the B.B. Comer, and the old folks say that people from all over would bring lanterns and musical instruments, and they'd have dances at the top of the bridge on Saturday nights.
The way the preaching has changed a little bit, instead of hellfire and brimstone, it's a lot milder now than it was back in those days. But the traditions and the where we're all trying to get to is still the same.
We walked to church. Most people didn't have cars.
Said Baptist preachers' kids were practicing baptizing. They practiced on all the farm animals. They baptized the farm animals. They baptized them all but one with one little old billy goat. And he knocked them both in the creek, skinned their shins and their knees and whatever, you know. And said they got tired. Said, whew. He said, let's quit. He says, tell you what, let's do. Let's sprinkle him. Said, let's do what the Methodists do. Says, let's sprinkle him a little bit and let him go there. And
in 1910, Section was incorporated, and a Dr. George Nye was elected the first mayor, and he lived in my house where I live now.
$3.5 million from a little town like Section at that time to start the first system, which was just about unheard of. A little town this size, floating funds to build a water system. And we were the first water system on Sand Mountain.
Our school is there, and since it was the 16th section of land, that's where Section came from, was there. Churches, that road, it's called Davistown Road. Okay, go down there, go across the little bridge, and over on the right, there used to be a Coca-Cola bottling plant. I bet you didn't know
In terms
that.
of, the gymnasium, everybody, across here stood in awe. How on earth did that little community up there have that kind of athletic program? And so a lot of things, have happened in and around the school. So I would say that we need to always remember that there are some valuable institutions in the community. And if those institutions remember the community is out there and we reciprocate back and forth with each other, it's amazing.
I learned to play dominoes at Skeet State Store back in the early 50s. So they've been playing dominoes in section for at least 110 years. They've been playing basketball nearly that long, I guess. Skeet State and Carl Phillips and Wayne and all those old-timers, M.H. Campbell would tell you that they invented the game of basketball. They did invite section to dedicate every museum that was built in the country. And of course, the new boys would always make fun of the old timers, yeah, we know how good you were, And Skeet State brought up there the next day, he said, I believe I showed you boys we were pretty good. He brought an old Lovey Cup that they had won, dedicated to him and Boaz. And then he said that when the Spaulding Rule Book Company printed the first basketball rule book that we had around the area, said they'd want a pretty good team to put the picture in, wouldn't they? Yep. He flipped that thing open and there's section's basketball team on the inside cover of the first rule book that the Spaulding Sporting Goods Company ever produced. So we have to admit they were pretty good. We had an old men's game between Macedonia and Section. The next time, Section brought a ringer or two down there and they played. It was a one-point game. Time was running out. Wayne Phillips was sitting on the end of the stage down there. And Section got the ball, and he ran out in front of the goal and hollered, throw the blackety-black thing. They threw it to him, he caught it, made a perfect pivot off of his right foot and laid that thing in the goal at the buzzer. And they said, well, the game's over, Section won. So they took the basketball seriously at Section for a long year.
There was two men fussing over a mule or horse, fussing over a horse. One of them was sitting at the store, and I don't know whether it was Skeets or otherwise. And another one came riding up on the horse. And they got in a fuss over it, so one of them just pulled his gun out and shot him. Downtown section.
Bill, not as many homes as you count. I've built over 100 homes in Scottsboro during my construction, early 50s to 63. After 63, we came parallel and stopped construction. All of it is Indian occupation.
I have been here all of my life. I'm 75 years old. I will be 76 this summer. I'm not telling you that sex was not around because it was. There was no birth control, so most families were big families.
We go to the show in Scottsboro Hall maybe once or twice a year. But they bring movies down, show a serial and a movie on Saturday nights at the schoolhouse. That's how they made a little money to run the school on.
Mr. Wayne Phillips worked for the state, and the state couldn't afford to pave any roads, but they bought the labor and the material and everything. So they loaned him the road grader, they loaned him the tar melter and the tar. And this is what they did. He came out there, that road that goes from the red light down through a section, they took the road scrape and they scraped that down. And he heated the tar, and you're not going to believe this because this is almost unbelievable. He took the 5-gallon bucket that the tar came in and he rigged up, put holes, he put holes down in across like this. He put holes in the bucket, and then he took a piece of metal that they cut that went down into the bottom of that with a chain coming up here onto the handle. And what he did, he would take that bucket, and when he got ready to get to where you needed to start the road, he'd take that chain and he'd pull it up, and he would walk and let that tar out of that bucket. Can you imagine tar in section, road like that? That was something, wasn't it? And as he went on up, made a couple of streaks through here, then the townspeople would take the gravels, throw over. And now that's how this road first.
Every porch had a bench on it. And on that bench there would be a water bucket, a wash pan, there would be a towel that everybody dried their hands on. You didn't dry one and pitch it in the laundry then. Everybody in the house used that same towel.
Going to the bathroom, there was nothing to sit on, no outhouse. If you went to the bathroom, you squatted down, you did your business. And folks, there was no paper products back in this time. You know, at this time, Sears was a very big business. It had a catalog about that thick, and it was wonderful every year to get the Sears Roebuck catalog because it had everything in the world that you could imagine in there that you would hope that someday when I grow up, I'm going to have this. Miss Campbell carried me to Loveman's in Chattanooga. That was one of the expensive stores. And she bought me a dress, and I will never remember, she paid $26 for a dress, and I thought, my goodness, who in the world can pay $26 for a dress? But she got me a dress, a purse, a hat, gloves, shoes, underwear, a complete outfit, and that was my graduation present. Of course, she realized that I probably wouldn't have the nice thing to wear to graduation that I needed, so therefore she was providing for me.
The happiest day of my life. That was the day he said that I'll never plant another stalk of cotton as long as I live. The boll weevil got us twice, and came us early September freeze. We made 3 bales of cotton off of 30 acres, and you couldn't cut it with that. He became
The reason so many good things have happened is because of a cooperative spirit among people and institutions, businesses, and folks. You know, we're going to use a word to describe Sand Mountain and rural Appalachia in many ways. It's the word cooperative.
The gap between the young and the old in Section Alabama is a little bit smaller today. The Pacers program has brought the two together through common interests, such as photography, music, agriculture, aquaculture, journalism, and the art of video making. The possibilities for growth on this great mountain are endless. The younger generation learning the ways of the world from the older generation will prove to be priceless as we move forward in this new era. We learn so much from history, but what we have learned from our elders is not always written in textbooks. It is written in the hearts and minds of our elders. We have a gift from them, and we now have the greatest honor of continuing in this tradition as we incorporate the old with the new. The cooperation of the young and the old are memories made and the key to a brighter future for Section Alabama. Section Alabama, our little town.